Right now, someone making $40,000 a year is on track to retire a millionaire, and someone making $150,000 a year is going to retire broke. Same country, same economy, same stock market. So what's the difference? It's not luck. It's not the economy. It's not even income. In the next 12 minutes, I'm going to show you the real reason 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, even the ones with six-figure salaries. And by the end, you'll understand exactly which one of these traps is keeping you from your first million. Let me tell you about two brothers. Same parents, same house, same public school in Ohio. Jake and Ryan. Jake graduated college, got a job as an accountant, starting salary $55,000. Ryan became a mechanic, no degree, starting income $38,000. On paper, Jake was already winning. Better job title, better starting pay, prouder moment for the family photo. Nobody at that graduate party thought Ryan was the one to watch. Fast forward 20 years. Jake drives a leased BMW, lives in a 4-bedroom house with a 30-year mortgage, and has $4,000 in savings. Ryan drives a 10-year-old Toyota, lives in a modest 3-bedroom he bought at 26, and has $304,000 in his retirement account, plus a rental property. Same starting point. Completely different income. Ryan wasn't smarter. He just did one thing Jake never did. And we're about to break it down, reason by reason, so you can see exactly where your own money is leaking out. Reason 1. Lifestyle inflation. The number one reason people never get rich is lifestyle. Every time their income goes up, their spending goes up right along with it. Jake got a raise, upgraded his car, got a bonus, upgraded his house. His income tripled over 15 years, but his savings rate stayed at 0, because his lifestyle tripled too. At 25, Jake made $55,000 and drove a used Honda. At 40, Jake made $165,000 and drove a $70,000 BMW on a lease he renews every 3 years. Do the math on that. Over 15 years, Jake probably paid more in car payments alone than Ryan's entire rental property cost him. This is the trap almost every American falls to. You get a promotion, and instead of investing the extra money, you reward yourself. New phone, nicer apartment, more dinners out. It feels good in the moment, but you're running on a treadmill that never lets you get ahead. No matter how fast you run, you stay in the same place. Financial planners actually have a name for this. The hedonic treadmill. Every upgrade resets your baseline of what feels normal, so you never actually feel richer, no matter how much you earn. Ryan did the opposite. Every raise he got, he kept his lifestyle exactly the same for one more year, and invested the difference. When he got a $4,000 raise, he didn't touch it. He set up an automatic transfer so it went right into his brokerage account before he even saw it hit his checking. He called it paying his future self first. That one habit, repeated for 20 years, is worth more than any salary bump Jake ever got. Reason 2. Single income stream. Here's reason number 2, and this one is bigger than people realize. Most people only have one income stream, their job. That means their income has a ceiling. You can only work so many hours in a day, and eventually your employer decides what you're worth, not you. The wealthy think differently. They build income streams that don't require their time. Dividends, rental income, a business that runs without them, royalties. This is the real definition of wealth. Not how much you earn, but how much money you make while you're not working. Ryan started small. He bought one rental property in his late 20s, using a small down payment and a regular mortgage. Nothing fancy, no rich uncle money involved. It barely made him $200 a month at first after expenses. Some months it made nothing, but that $200 a month didn't need him to show up and work for it. It kept coming whether he was asleep, on vacation, or sick in bed. 15 years later, he owns 3 properties, and they generate more income than his actual mechanic job. He didn't quit his job to do it. He just let the rental income compound quietly in the background, while he kept working his normal hours. This is the difference between a paycheck and a system. A paycheck stops the moment you stop working. A system keeps paying you while you sleep. And you don't need real estate specifically. Dividend stocks, a small online business, or even royalties from something you create. One can work the same way. The point isn't the vehicle. The point is escaping the one income stream trap. Reason 3. Fear of the stock market. Reason 3 is fear. Specifically, fear of the stock market. Most Americans keep their extra money sitting in a savings account, earning less than 1%, while inflation eats away 3 to 4% of its value every single year. That money isn't safe. It's quietly losing value every day it sits
there, even though the number on the screen never goes down. That's the trick. It feels safe because the balance doesn't drop, but what that balance can actually buy, keep drinking. While the S&P 500 has historically earned about 10% a year on average over the long run. That's the difference between money that grows and money that shrinks. Run the numbers. $10,000 sitting in a saving account for 20 years at 1% barely becomes $12,000. That same $10,000 in an index fund averaging 10% becomes close to $67,000. Same starting amount, same 20 years. Wildly different outcome, just because of where the money's at. Jake was scared of the market. He'd heard stories of people losing money in Tate, so he avoided it completely and kept everything in cash to be safe. Ryan didn't try to time the market or pick the next hot stock. He didn't watch CNBC or chase whatever stock was trending that week. He just put money into a simple index fund every single month for 20 years, rain or shine, during crashes, during recoveries. During years, the news said everything was falling apart. That boring, consistent habit is what built his $300,000 to $40,000. The wealthy aren't smarter investors. They're just not afraid to start. And they don't panic sell the moment the market dips. Reason 4, the comparison trap. Reason 4 is the comparison trap. And social media has made this worse than ever. Jake's neighbor got a new truck, so Jake wanted one too. His coworker posted vacation photos, so Jake booked a trip he couldn't really afford. His cousin bought a bigger house, so suddenly Jake's perfectly fine 4-bedroom felt small. None of these decisions were about what Jake really needed. They were about keeping up with what everyone else seemed to have. Here's the truth nobody tells you. Most people flexing wealth online are in debt. The truck has a loan. The vacation is on a credit card. The designer bag was a treat-yourself purchase after a bad week. You're not competing with rich people. You're competing with broke people pretending to be rich. And you have no idea what their bank account actually looks like behind the filter. Ryan never cared what his neighbors drove. He got asked more than once why he still drove a 10-year-old Toyota when he could clearly afford better. His answer was always the same. I'm not trying to look rich. I'm trying to be rich. He was playing a completely different game. One where the scoreboard is your net worth, not your Instagram feed, and nobody else can even see the score. Reason 5, zero financial education. And here's the root cause underneath all of this. Nobody ever taught most Americans how money actually works. School teaches algebra and history, but not how compound interest works, not how credit scores work, not the difference between an asset and a liability. So people learn about money from advertising, which is designed to make them spend, not save. They learn from friends who are just as used as they are, trading bad advice back and forth like it's fact. They learn from social media gurus, selling a course about the very riches they claim to already have. And by the time they figure it out on their own, they're 45 years old with almost nothing saved, wondering where the last 2 decades went. Ryan got lucky. One book at 24 changed how he saw money. It wasn't anything exotic. It just explained in plain language the difference between buying things that make you look rich and buying things that actually make you rich. Jake never picked one up. He assumed that because he made more money, he automatically knew more about money. Those are 2 completely different skills, and using them is one of the most expensive mistakes you can make. Reason 6, no clear goal or system. There's one more piece to this, and it ties everything together. Jake never had a number. He never sat down and decided what he was actually working toward. He just worked, spent what was left, and hoped it would work out eventually. Ryan had a target from the start. Buy one property every 5 to 7 years, max out his retirement account contribution every year without fail, and never touch the investment accounts no matter what. It wasn't complicated. It didn't require a finance degree. It was just a simple system he never broke, even in years when money was tight. That's the real unglamorous secret. Rich people aren't usually smarter or luckier. They just have a system, and they follow it even when it's boring, especially when it's boring. Conclusion. So here's the real reason most people never get rich. It's not their income. It's not the economy. It's 6 invisible habits: lifestyle inflation, single income streams, fear of investing, the comparison trap, zero financial education, and never having a real system.
You can't just push all the blame on
Every single one of
me.
these is fixable.
It is simply
starting today.
Did you
with
know
the
that?
very next dollar you
12
spend.
minutes is all it
You
takes.
don't need to earn what Jake
How am I going
earns.
to afford this?
You need to think like Ryan thinks. If this video opened your eyes, subscribe to Wealth Nexo. Because next week, I'm breaking down exactly how Ryan built his first rental property with almost no money down, step by step, so you can see precisely how it's done.